Hello and happy Wellness Tips for You Wednesday again. So today I'm talking about happiness and essentially how we can cultivate an ability of ourselves, a sort of philosophy around happiness, because I think so many of us believe that happiness can be reached by achieving certain goals, like you maybe want to earn a certain amount of money, or you might want to buy a new car, or you want to build the ideal house. And I think while those things are nice and they're fun, I really don't think that those result in lasting happiness. I believe happiness is an approach to life, it's a philosophy in life, and it's something that enables us to really sort of connect with our core values on a very sort of foundational layer. Sorry, I've got some messages coming through, and I think when we're constantly striving to for the new thing, whatever that might be, whatever ticks your boxes. Say, for instance, it's the new car. You get the new car, and then that excitement. I think we tend to think excitement leads to happiness, but excitement is just happiness distilled in a small space of time. And then, of course, eventually the new car smell goes away, starts to get a bit rusty, you might have a few dents eventually. And it's not really a foundation of happiness that gets created when you purchase a new thing. And I think actually also I think it's easier to find true happiness when you actually live a lifestyle that's fairly minimal. And I'm not suggesting get rid of all the junk. I know we surround ourselves with junk. I'm terrible at it. I just can't bear to get rid of some bits and pieces. But I think when our life is fairly simple, when we step back a bit and just give ourselves time to reflect on the things that are really, really important to us. Thank you. If wealth can't give happiness, please tell me what can give me happiness. Oh my goodness, seriously? Wealth might give you happiness, George. I know that if it was wealth, then all the lottery winners who have won their fortunes would be superbly happy, and a lot of them they squander their winnings within like 18 months to 2 years. I can't understand how anybody would squander so much money in such a short period of time, and they'd be happy, but a lot of them aren't. A lot of their relationships fail, a lot of their friendships fail. Money does not buy you happiness. I do agree, George, that money can help take away stress, and it's also been scientifically proven that something is an economics term, marginal utility. So say, for instance, just to keep it really simple, if you have a box of chocolates and you eat one chocolate, the first chocolate is absolutely delicious, so your marginal utility is high. But after you've eaten about 10 chocolates, your marginal utility gets really, really low until to the stage where actually you don't want any more chocolates. And the same is after you've sort of earned a certain amount of income, once you are able to pay your bills safely, and you can start to save a little bit. Every sort of additional £10,000 or dollars makes not so much difference in your marginal utility. So every $10,000 you earn, you're not quite as happy as the previous $10,000 that you earned. So that's pretty much and I think that is where a lot of people fall down, is the fact that they believe that wealth leads to happiness. And I actually don't disagree. I was brought up in quite a meager household, and it's one of the happiest times of my life because we didn't rely upon external things to make us happy. Happiness came from within. Happiness came from our relationships and our family, and feelings of connection, feelings of trust. I think those are worth more than any amount of money that you could ever be given. And I think if you've got kids and you could say, would you rather your child be rich or would you rather your child be happy? Yeah, if you had the choice, you'd probably say both. But if you had to make that choice, I know I'd be choosing for my child to be happy, because if they are happy in their heart, they have that wealth. And happy people are more successful. It's been absolutely scientifically proven that happy people are healthier people, they're nicer people to be around, and they're often more successful in business too. So, so I think it's really important to define what happiness is for you, and also for your happiness to to sort of work around your core values too. What are your values? I know for me, happiness is being free. I love having that sense of freedom, which is why one of the reasons I work for myself. I can't stand being tied down to a schedule, whether it's my schedule or somebody else's schedule. Freedom for me is absolutely paramount. So my happiness is derived from a lot of freedom. Personally, I'm not somebody who needs an awful lot of accreditation or celebration. In fact, I won a trip in September, which I didn't even go on because my daughter was starting university at the same time, and it was more important for me to be with her and not take the trip, which was going to be very nice. But I have absolutely no regret. But it's quite funny too. We actually have a bias. The human is incredibly, our mind, the way our thought processes are incredibly powerful because I don't think there are many of us who would look back on life and say that we have regrets. Yes, there are things that you might have changed, but despite some of the worst moments of my life, they've resulted in me becoming the individual that I am, and having the ability to teach my children in such a way that they've become sort of fairly well balanced people, hopefully. And I wouldn't change those things. During the moments that they were happening, were they good? No, they were hard, and they were draining, but I've learned so much from it. And I think it's that philosophy of knowing that things will always get better. It's sort of based upon positive psychology. Dr. Martin Seligman is the sort of founder of positive psychology, and it's absolutely fascinating. Actually, he put up two maps. So this is like a test done in the States, and he had maps county by county of the incidence of atherosclerosis. So obviously, hardening of the arteries, and in some counties there was an awful lot of atherosclerosis, which was indicated on these maps. He then had an overlay onto these maps of people that were using negative words on Twitter, and things like hate, can't, and disempowering words as well, like can't, weak, angry, frustrated, disappointed, help, just disempowering words, as well as a lot of expletives. And over the so and essentially the correlation was absolutely astounding. So where there were high levels of atherosclerosis, there was also the highest levels of negative words being used on Twitter within those counties. And then he also showed a map of the lowest incidence of atherosclerosis. Ooh, I put my teeth in. And that correlated with the most positive and empowering words being used on Twitter. So things like fabulous, great, happy, strong, solution, all the sort of positive words that you would associate were found to correlate very, very closely to low levels of atherosclerosis. So that's just one test or one piece of evidence, but there are numerous pieces of evidence that suggest that when we have a positive outlook on our lives, when we have a solution focused outlook on our lives, when we see ourselves as being empowered to find the solution, even if we're in a circumstance that isn't necessarily healthy or happy for us at the time, it's happiness. Deep happiness comes from that awareness that although we might not know what the solution is, it's going to come to us. And it's been proven. I mean, people are healthier, people are more productive at work. People who have this positive psychology have happier marriages, more fulfilling marriages, they have better friendships, they have better social circles. And so I think it's also having like a commitment, it's drawing the line and having a commitment to you. Because if you're finding in your life you're not happy, then it's one of these, when I have clients come through for psychotherapy and they are essentially sad, they're just feeling incredibly sad, they're incredibly beat down, and they're not entirely sure why or how to get out of it. And it's I always say, well, what values are really important to you? Because once you know what your values are, sort of your top three, top five values, it's really much easier then to create a strategy or create a life that honors your values and honors what is really important to you deep down. And it might mean um, sort of disentangling yourself from toxic friendships. It might be a matter of not going to the bar so often, where you always end up feeling rotten the next day. It might be a matter of not eating so much of the food that you know is going to make you unhealthy. It's just small little things that can make a big difference when you compound them over time. And I'm very much about taking small steps that you create a healthy habit just on one aspect of your life, and it'll have such a positive knock-on effect to other aspects of your life. um, and I think it's also about being aware of not seeking for the end goal, but to enjoy the journey. I know that's become a bit of a cliche. I see it as enjoying the adventure. I think you can all, a lot of us think, well, when I earn £10,000 a month, I'm going to be happy. Well, when you earn £10,000 a month, it means that most of your bills are going to be, or hopefully all your bills will be paid, and it gives you that freedom. Does that actually necessarily make you happy? No, not necessarily. It takes the stress of finances away, but it doesn't actually make you happy in and of itself. Um, but then if it ties into your values, for instance, like me for freedom, it means that I would buy a camper van and I'd go off and I'd travel much more than I do right now, because I love, for me, exploring, hiking is one of the best things out there. I'm a absolute hippie boho by heart. I love it. I would quite happily live in a tent for the rest of my life if I could. Um, and so I think it's when I see clients, I give them a few steps to take home and to start to put into practice. And I'm not suggesting you do all of these at the same time, but if you're struggling and you're feeling like whether you've got this sort of big well of sadness inside of you, or whether you're just not quite sure how to get a grip and to get back started again on a path that's more positive and gives you more happiness. It sounds really, these things are so simple, actually they're simple not to do, and I would really encourage you to do them. One is to start to write a gratitude journal, whether that's in the morning or the evening. Fit it into your day, or at lunchtime. Fit it into your day how it fits best. I do mine at night time. I think it's really good for me to sort of prime my mind to something positive before I actually go to sleep. And I also read positive books, whether that's personal development or well, they're pretty much all personal development. Actually, I don't read fiction really, because I love learning stuff. So I will do my gratitude journal, then I'll read probably half an hour of personal development. Sometimes it's more business related, sometimes it's more personal related, but just being have sort of flexing your gratitude muscles helps you to see things from more of a positive and appreciative stance, rather than, oh, woe is me and this went wrong and that went wrong and this went wrong. I think we're all very good at seeing the negative. If you are somebody out there who gets reviews, for instance, you could have 200 positive reviews and then you get the one negative review, and I bet you spend most of your time focusing on that one negative review and berating yourself and worrying about that one negative review, where it could just be somebody who's a pain in the arse and likes giving bad reviews. There are people out there, there's some, there are trolls, and they don't deserve your energy, but sometimes that one review might be enough to make you think you're a complete failure, and you're ignoring the 200 other positive reviews that you've received. And I think also we have a habit of doing, if something goes wrong in your life, customer service for instance, we're all very quick to write a complaint letter, but how many of us actually write a letter to say that service was amazing, that guy looked after me really well, he fixed my, I don't know, sewage system brilliantly. He fixed my phone. She did this, that, the other. Whatever it might be, we're very fast to complain, but we're not so good at complimenting. And I think it's also something to become aware of. And again, one of the daily practices I would suggest is just send something that's positive to someone. Whether it's somebody in your family, somebody who you work with, somebody who could just deserve a bit of a sort of a hug or a pat on the back. Do something that makes somebody's day happier, but also makes you feel happy by doing it. I think it's a lovely thing when you can help lift somebody else's spirits, or volunteer. I mean, when I volunteer in hospice, it's some of the happiest days ever. I love, love, love just being able to go and help people in various situations in their life, and hopefully just give a little bit of positivity to them as well. And I think meditation is a really good one, or deep breathing. I think it's really helpful to you to know that you have that ability to just turn your brain off when you need to, because until, a lot of us, we'll either distract ourselves through drugs, drink, smoking, sex, whatever it might be, or we sort of do a busy day, we hit the sack and we fall asleep, and we don't have any time out for ourselves, whether even if it's just 5 minutes a day, to sit back and actually just tune out for 5 minutes. It's the message that says to yourself is that you're actually really, you're giving yourself some time, you're giving yourself a breathing space, and the more you practice that, the easier it will become. Meditation and me are just like, I find it really hard because I have got a really busy brain, but I do work out regularly every day, and I walk out in nature every day, and I reflect quite a lot every day. So that, for me, that's my, probably what you'd call my meditation time. And also, if you can find the time, move your body. We all need to move our bodies more. It helps to gobble up the stress hormones, and it floods our systems with endorphins and feel good hormones, which make us feel happier. And cardio is better than strength training if you want to, if you're doing it for happy hormones. As much as I like strength training, you do get more of a buzz off of cardio training, or go for a run. Anything to sort of get you breathing harder and faster for a sort of a focused spate of time. Drink lots of water. It's very good for you. Our system needs it. When we're dehydrated, it makes us more grouchy. And I think it's putting into practice, probably taking time out for yourself. Become aware of the things that make you happy, and do a few more of them. I think we're all very good at just doing stuff and filling our days with so much stuff, but we don't take enough time out, step back and just relax, whether that's a long delicious bath, whether it's just reading a book in your favorite armchair, whatever it might be that you enjoy and that makes you feel comfortable and relaxed and happy. Schedule time in for yourself to do that. I know we all live busy lives. My life is incredibly busy. I promise you. I'm not just sort of airy fairing around my day. As soon as I finish this, I've probably got another 4 hours of work at least to get done before I even start to plan my stuff for tomorrow and get things organised. And I've still got to do my dinner. And so what time is it now? It's 4 o'clock. It's going to be at least 8 or 9 o'clock, probably 9 o'clock, nearer to 9 before I actually finish for today. But I think when you can take time out for yourself, just those small moments, it makes the longer days less stressful, because you've had that little oasis of calm. But it also makes you more productive. Without a shadow of a doubt, having time away from the buzz and the clutter will make you more productive and healthier, and by default happier. And the only thing I would say in closing is just make sure that whatever you're doing is you are respecting your own value system. I have got a sheet that it helps you work out what your value system is. The first time I heard somebody talk about values, I was thinking, I hadn't got the foggiest idea really what they meant. If you'd like a copy of that, send me a message or leave me a comment and I will send that value sheet across to you. It's actually really interesting. It sort of helps you work out from sort of like the top 10 values what your key three or five are. It's a really easy way of working them out, but then it just enables you to become aware of what they are so that you can then honor them in your behavior and how you go about doing your daily life. So with that, I hope that's been helpful. If you've got anything you'd like me to cover on a next Wellness Tips for You Wednesday, please send me a private comment or private message or leave me a comment and I'll make sure to add that to my list. And I hope you have a superb rest of your day. So thank you for joining me and I'll catch you soon.